listener. So who are we talking to this morning? It gives me great joy and honor to welcome the chairman of the Civil Liberties Organization here in Akwa Ibom State, himself an activist and a journalist. He is Utwikon Franklin Isong. Franklin, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ike. Good to be here. Good morning, Amazing.
Good morning. Yes, good to engage you this morning too.
My pleasure.
So let's get straight to it. The one that concerns me the most is the one they call our cook. And I don't want to waste time with it. And while many people are talking about the many demerits, so to speak, of redesigning the 200, 500, 1,000 Naira notes, many people have not also paid attention to the merits. So from what you know, let's put the two on the table. The biggest question people are asking about this time is, if we look at the merits and demerits, we hope you'll be able to provide some for us. Is it a proper timing?
I don't want to say I am not surprised that the central bank has come out to say that it wants to restrict the Naira note. I discussed with a financial expert some months ago, a friend of mine at the golf course while playing golf. We were just discussing the politics that is going on in the country ahead of the 2023. And, you know, he just mentioned that if he were to be the central bank governor, that he would, you know, change the currency, add little features to distort what we have now. And I asked him why. I was surprised, though it didn't occur to me that he was that serious. And I asked him why, jokingly, and he said that a lot of politicians have, you know, stashed so much millions in their houses, preparing to use to buy vote, preparing to use to, you know, to do one or two things that will compromise the electoral process. And then he also said that you should also take a look at the major parties convention. What happened there?
Yeah, it was alleged that
monies exchanged hands, and so even when you had the EFCC and other security agencies in the premises, that money still exchanged hands. Though he said that it wasn't Naira, that it wasn't only Naira, that dollars, that politicians have also learned to also, use other currencies like dollar to acquire vote. So when we got this message from CBN, I think 2-3 days ago, for me it wasn't surprised, because I was like on the know that certainly such a thing might happen. I think that looking at the reasons advanced by the central bank governor, the holding of Naira, the issue of payment of ransom to kidnappers, bandits and the rest, I would agree with him that there is need that the currency be retrieved, change a little of the features so that we can, get these monies come out from where they are being, stashed. I also discussed this morning with one of my friends who is a banker, and he told me that it's a good policy that bandits who have received ransom in Naira, kidnappers that have received ransom in Naira, will definitely bring them out, and that it will afford the EFCC and other security agencies to now know where these monies were kept, who are the owners, and what you're doing. Politicians who also have stashed billions in their houses will also look for ways to bring them out. Just like, smoking out rat from their holes. They will now bring out these billions to the banks so that, there will now be questions. Questions could be asked. How did you get this money? What are you doing? And all that stuff will be like, what will be asked. And possibly we can now be getting to somewhere towards addressing the issue of insecurity and also checkmating the issue of corruption and the rest. And again, these are the merits now. Looking the fact that we are having election by January at most, the currency will no longer be useful. Then from the 31st or from the 1st of February, that we are planning now. We are in the heat of the election proper. Anyone that has the former note can no longer use it. So you can now see that so many persons, politicians, will be trapped. They will be caught in the trap. That is the advantage. So that we can now be able to allow people to vote without being compromised.
So if I get your analysis well, that means the action is geared towards curbing vote buying. Because people have stashed a lot of money,
much.
It will cut them off the opportunity.
We've even heard of bullion ban. What is it called? Bullion ban sometimes.
Yeah.
Being kept in someone's home, and billions were discovered in the bullion ban and the rest. I want to agree with those who have advanced the argument that it will help in curbing the excesses of politicians and vote buying.
But there's also some business people who do not believe in keeping money in the bank. They keep money in their homes. What's going to happen to those people?
Same thing will happen if you have genuine means of making your money. You just go to the bank, deposit the old ones, and then you get back the new currency. That is for me. That for me will be the process, and there won't be much questions. For example, if the likes of Dangote, assuming has billions in his house, you just go to the bank and your sources of income. It changes to the new currency. There will be no question. But if you have a politician whose only public positions has been a councillor, a local government chairman, a house member, politics, and he has billions, there will be need for questions. I want to think so. That the security will now be up their game to be able to questions and let us fish out those who have actually loot the current our resources.
Another advantage that the CBN governor did mention is the fact that it will help, especially in this whole payment of ransom and all of that.
Exactly.
Now, here comes the big question: how will it help?
I told you that the persons who have received ransom, these bandits that have already received ransom, they will find a way to bring it out, to go and change to the current, to the approved currency. There's no how they can keep those monies again. It becomes at lot, outdated. So they will have to bring it out from wherever they are hiding. So while they are bringing it out, they will now be able to ask questions. Questions will be asked. They will now know how, because most of these bandits don't have account. Some of them don't come out openly say I'm a bandit. But when you go to the bank to lodge billions, questions will be asked. How did you make your money? It may not be the banker asking you. It may not be the banker, your account officer or banker, the bank manager asking you. But when this money is lodged in the bank, I think the financial and intelligence units of EFCC will be able to. Of course, they will get alert, because every person who does transaction beyond 100 millions or so, I think the bank have data. They have a way to check to know. I mean, the question to know how this money came in and all that.
Let's leave that now and talk a bit about the demerits. Do you know that it's going to cost Nigeria as much as 3.3 trillion to get this notes out? Now, if it's going to cost us this much, ASU, you're very much aware, they said they never signed any agreement with the federal government to call off strike. They did what they did on goodwill, based on the fact that the Speaker of the House of Reps intervened and made some promises. And it's going to cost us 3.3 trillion to get this new notes out. Penny wise, pound foolish.
I was discussing with a friend of mine yesterday, and we were just explaining the way governance in Nigeria has become so polarized that Nigeria is a country that you will spend a trillion to recover 1 billion. Spend trillions to recover 1 billion. Now, what is the profit? What is the profit margin? I said before, and I asked, I think in a program, I said, if Nigeria were to be a private company of those in authorities, would they run it the way they are running it now? Certainly no. They won't, because they will be careful of making profit. What is the logic? What is the reasoning behind you spending trillions to print to print new notes? Now that we don't have food on our tables, Nigerians are sleeping without food in their stomach. Labour ASU call off strike because of interventions of persons and the High Court and Appeal Court, and we are still begging ASU not to go back to strike. We had the issues of unpaid salaries. 8 months of ASU's salary has not been paid. We have the issue of pension and gratuities. We have several issues. The issue of fuel subsidy, we are hearing that by next budget year,
spending trillions in the first quarter.
To take care of subsidy that no one is actually seeing the profit, the gains that we're getting from it. So you can imagine the fact that Nigeria is a country where those that are governing us by, whether by, I don't want to say hook or crook, are using billions, trillions to recover millions. If we are to ask, the government that has been fighting corruption has been able to recover some billions from, the Abacha loot, the Rizani and the rest. We've not been able to know how much was spent in the process of getting all these monies back. We only be told that Nigeria have been able to recover this. How much was spent, nobody knows. And that is why nobody can be told what those funds are used for. So we are in a country where our leaders spend trillions to recover millions.
Amazing. You've got questions, obviously.
Not exactly, but I'm just actually checking on the last perspective he gave about the fact that we sink in so much in the name of trying to salvage a situation, and it also comes to questioning our scale of preference and priority. Now, when we talk about redesigning the Naira, are they going to because there's also the concern of counterfeit circulation, whereby there's going to be some sort of shake-ups and destabilization and all of that. Do we have, or can we exercise the faith that those gray areas, those likely last fights that some of these persons that don't find this pleasing is going to put up, that we're ready for it? Or is it just going to be another effort that will be done in the whim of the moment but cannot be sustained over time? Because trillions is a lot of money. Yeah. And so we need to know if what it's going to be put into is safe, is properly planned, and will give the desired result. Because I'm afraid, sorry to cut, I'm afraid like just even the polymer transition of the 10, 20, 50 Naira thing, they gave a lot of deadlines, and then those deadlines came with extensions and what have you, although they were not as secure based as this one. But I'm saying, and I'm worried that January may not be feasible, because till this areas that has been stated out is being addressed, it still looks like the typical Nigerian sensational policies just to show that they're working, and yet the in-between dynamics that could likely happen is not being paid attention to. So, Otoeko, I don't know what you have to say about that.
I want to say, though not as an authority in central bank, that the January date is sacrosanct. Why am I sure of this? Is because of the election that is coming after January. If the government is sincere about checking vote buying, if the government is sincere about ensuring that we have one man, one vote, and that people that the vote will reflect Nigerians, choice, then the sacrosanct date for the change of the currency should be that January date. Now, again, like I said earlier, a financial expert told me that this particular notice coming to the public today had been on the know of some banks managers, some bank MDs who are privy, who are close to the CBN authorities. They were given that like an advance notice, privately, quietly, that this thing is likely going to happen. It's not something that just wake up one day and they make that policy out. CBN must have been planning. They have board meetings, they have discussions, they consult with people.
Banks were privy to this.
Some banks MDs who are close to some CBN personnel must have been told that, man, get prepared, or this thing may likely happen. So those banks must have informed their clients that have these billions in their house that, look, get prepared, this thing may likely happen. That's one. So for me, the January date is going to be, it may be sacrosanct if the government is sure of curbing vote buying. Then, the security features that may likely appear on the new Naira note. I think I cannot speak as a security expert, but I want to be sure that central bank knows what is best for Nigeria. You cannot be spending trillions for something that can easily be counterfeited, can easily be duplicated. Okay. If you do that, then it means that you have failed Nigeria, and the whole money put into the exercise will become a wasted resources. So central bank should be able to put in those security features that will not be able to be duplicated or counterfeited.
My question that I'll ask before we go straight to the next issue of concern, and then we'll see how we can manage time and bring the listener, is very simple. The timing. Is this the best time? There are other issues contending for attention as well. Is the timing right, even though it's inevitable?
Especially with the Naira depreciation, I have to add, because just as the announcement of that news, the Naira has fallen in the parallel market to as high as 775 Naira.
Timing.
Yes. If you asked me to advise the CBN, I would have advised that the timing is not proper. That instead the CBN should work towards stabilizing Naira. Naira has fallen like
drastically.
Naira is on a free fall. It's falling daily. And before you know it, Naira will be getting to 2,000 Naira per dollar. I'm not a prophet of doom, but I'm speaking because I see the way it is going on a free fall. So the best thing for CBN should be to work towards stabilizing Naira and ensuring that Naira has value, not just changing the currency and you feel that you have done so much and your target is just to curb. If your target is just to curb the vote buying and to ensure that those who kidnapped, who took ransom for kidnapping, bring this money out. For me, it is not the best time for that.
Okay, so the next issue that we'll look at also is this